In the wrong one.
I hope everybody can hear us now. Again, we are really sorry about the issue. I'm not really sure what went wrong. So Sarah's already on this call. We're just waiting for Gilles to dial in. That's happening right now. So teams should be able to submit their questions now. I had to unfortunately create a new link, as you could all see, because for some reason the option was disabled on the last one. Just to facilitate, we can get one of the questions that was submitted on the Facebook group. So Sarah can probably just share that question with us here. Then we'll answer that question for you. And then again, you should be able to submit your question now. The option is enabled. So please let us know if you can submit your question now. And if you can, as always, please include your name, team name, and country. So wait a second. Apparently now we can see all the questions that were submitted in the original
Yes.
Hangout. So I can see people who are joining us here. Let's not make this more complicated than it can be. So let's all join this call now where we are, and we're going to be answering your questions from the other page. Of course, this is happening. It's not even April Fool's or Friday the 13th, but it's happening to us. Thanks everybody who is still there and hanging on. So we are all here together in London, and I do think these IT glitches only happen when we're all together in the same place at the same time. We have 20 people online now in this session. As you can see here, my best friend, Gilles Vanier is here. So we're going to try to answer all your questions in the easiest way possible. Sarah is just here next to me, and she can also see some of your questions. Again, I do hope that you can all see them now, and I do apologize. We'll try to make this as easy and seamless as possible for all of you. I'll just capture all the questions now from G's computer. Again, we could not see any of your questions, and I can now see that you did ask us a lot of questions. The usual suspects, but a lot of questions here. So please don't give up on us. I will get back to you just now. Again, people are restarted to join us again. It is working, this one. Is it still not working? So if it's not working, I guess unfortunately it will be a problem with Google, and we can't do much because we don't have a Google support here with us. But why don't we try this? I will answer the questions that you have submitted to us, and we'll answer those. And then we can re-edit the video and make sure that you guys have all those questions. And now, as you can see, Gilles is also joining. So let's just try to make this work for you. Okay, so let's just see. Gilles seems to be having a few issues dialing in, but I can also see the number of viewers growing. Can you just close it? This has been a great hangout. So as you can see, we're trying to overcome our issues. We'll have another half an hour for questions, so don't you guys worry. Sarah, how are we with the teams? Are they being able to join? Have you heard from them on the Facebook group?
So from what I understand, the issue is still the same. They're not able to type in their questions and ask their questions live, which is why we're not receiving them. I don't know where that issue is coming from. What we're going to be doing, I think the best thing to do now is just read the questions we received and answer those. And if you do have any urgent questions that you think we haven't answered, you can go ahead and post them on the Facebook group, and I'll read them from there.
Exactly. So let's do that. Again, we do apologize, and we will raise that with our technical support in Google, I guess. But unfortunately, just to try to make this faster for you today, let's go answer some of the questions you have already submitted. And again, if there's anything left that you need our help with, I'll make sure that we can answer those questions. So let's start with the question that you guys have submitted on the previous session that for some reason we were not able to see. So let me just help Gilles here with, maybe Sarah, you can take this one because this is not as much technical. So I think it's Jean from the Ecomotion team from Estin,
Yeah.
Prototype Battery Electric. She's just asking if we can let us know a little bit more about the track surface. So if we can describe the track and how the event looks like, I'll make sure I can connect G to this call.
Okay, guys, so I know they're really worried about, and I think we've already covered that really on the Facebook group. We know that some parts of the future track are grass currently. We do go on site almost every single week, so we know exactly what the track is going to look like and where it is. Obviously, we also know how your vehicles work, and we know how delicate they are, and we have actually had experts from Michelin come on track to evaluate the future track as well. So we will be redoing large portions of the track, redoing the tarmac, making sure it's nice and smooth and safe for your vehicles. So there's really nothing to worry about when it comes to the track. It'll be 100% safe and adapted to Shell Eco Marathon prototypes and urban concept tires. So really the only thing you need to worry about when it comes to the track is preparing your driving strategy and making sure your drivers know the vehicle off by heart, and you know all the corners and everything when it comes to driving strategy. So please don't have any worries when it comes to the track. We have an expert team working on the subject, and I promise the track will be in perfect condition for you.
Thanks, Sarah. Let's just pick another question, and that's quite an easy one. So let's start with that. Sarah did talk about that in her slide presentation. So this is from the team Eco Runner from Delft. They're running on a prototype hydrogen, and they're asking if there's any more information about the Drivers World Championship. Sarah just mentioned that, but maybe you can tell them, Sarah, where they can find more information and where is the new set of rules, chapter 3?
So the Drivers World Championship will be taking place on Sunday, July 3rd. We have a dedicated website for the Drivers World Championship, which I have shared in the newsletter. So basically, we have a Q&A on there, and we also have chapter 3 of the rules, which were posted this morning. It's all fresh, it's all new. So if you want information, I would definitely suggest going on that website, reading through the whole Q&A, reading all through the chapter 3. If you do have any extra questions about the subject, you can send me an email at shellecomarathon@shell.com, the email address you usually use for all your questions, or you can post them on our Facebook group where I will be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Sarah. And now another logistical question before we start with the bunch of technical ones. Team Green Team 20 from the Netherlands, they're running on an open concept hydrogen, but they're actually asking about the Wi-Fi on site. Do we have any information about the quality of the Wi-Fi on site? We knew that this question was coming.
As best as possible.
So I know that for most of us, Wi-Fi has become a basic human right. I'm one of those people, and I realize how important it is. I had a confirmation, yesterday. There will be Wi-Fi in the paddock, so you will have Wi-Fi there. I can't guarantee anything when it comes to the quality or how quick it's going to be. Obviously, we're going to try our best to make it, the best quality Wi-Fi that we can, given the number of people that will be using it. So I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be like. I can just confirm that you will be having Wi-Fi in the paddocks. Having issues asking your questions on the Hangout, then you can go ahead and post them on the Facebook group. I have it in front of me right now, so if you have any extra questions, you can go ahead and ask them on there.
Thanks, Sarah. And now just over to some more technical questions. So, Gilles, this will be for you. And the question is, and I might be wrong, but I do think the question is already answered in some of our documentation. But the question is from Ken from Green Path Racing. They're running on a prototype gasoline, and they are from the UK. So I do think you're a new team, so welcome to Challenger Marathon. Their question is, would it be possible to get more information on the track, such as corner radius and track width variation? Gilles?
If you are going in the website, you will find all the information about the track, especially the topography. And all the turns are at least made for what is mandatory in the rules. I would say for prototype, the radius is at least it's a maximum of 8 meters, but all the turn will be more than 8 meters anyway. You have enough space to make your turn, and if you are going in Challenger Marathon website, which page exactly I have not in mind, but if you important information, you will find all the topography of the track.
Yes, there are two documents actually. One is an important information pack, so actually general information about the track, and one specific track map where we can see how the track layout is, and on the important information document, you actually have details about the radius and about the track elevation. So all the technical information is there. Now, another technical question for Gilles, and it's quite an important one considering 2016, and it's from Team Tiger from Germany. They're running on a prototype fuel cell, so I take it hydrogen fuel cell. So is it possible to have solar cells on the roof of the car as an auxiliary power source for the motor? Gilles?
Solar cell this year is totally forbidden. It's sort of, we had in the past for battery electrical car only, and this year it's totally removed from the rules. It's not allowed to have a solar panel in the car. You can have solar panel if you want, but it must not be connected to the electrical wire of the car.
Thank you. And now another really important question, also from the Netherlands. So Team Apollo Delft, so Sander, they are running on a prototype alternative fuel with ethanol, and Sander is asking, will there be any changes in the technical inspection due to the changes of the track specifications? Gilles?
No, you still have to read the rules, respect the rules, and we will check the car again the same way as previous years. Especially take care at your brake efficiency. We will pay the real attention at this point at start, finish, each time you go on track, but more about the stability of the car. And if we consider a vehicle too much flexible, not stable to run on this track, will not will not let this car going on track. It's not more strict. It just respect the rules. If you do something logic, you have no problem with the technical inspection. Yes, anyway.
Merci, Gilles. And now a really important question as well from Polytech Jules or from Polyjules, Polytech Nantes, I think. Is the track wide enough to have high speed before the bridge in the uphill?
The track width is expected to be 7 meters everywhere. We try to maintain this width along the track at all points. You have to manage your strategy anyway to if you need to overtake another car or sorry.
Thanks, Gilles. And now we're going to be mixing. So Sarah is actually getting some questions from Facebook, and I'm going to get some questions that we received in the first session. So now a question that was posted on Facebook, and it's from Team PV3 from Saka, France. They're running on a prototype ethanol. So for the roll bar, what do you mean by high deformation? Is there displacement less than a centimeter or a millimeter? Gilles?
We have no real measurement of this, not physical measure in terms of millimeter or plus or minus something, but we just make a test, simple test with 70 kilo pressure on the roll bar. This must be close to be static and not move too much, but just consider the logic. The roll bar is made to protect the driver in case of rollover. It must be solid enough to resist that rollover and not too much flexible. The main part is to protect the head of the driver.
Thanks, Gilles. And I also wanted to thank everybody who is actually joining us on this link. We're actually now with more viewers than we were on the previous link. So as always, you guys support us and stay with us even when we have IT issues. So thank you very much. Another question still from Facebook, and then I'll come back to the other ones. It's from the DTU Roadrunners. They are running on an urban concept alternative fuel, and I do think it's maybe ethanol, but I remember
Probably ethanol.
Regarding the fuel lines, is it allowed for us to use non-transparent fuel lines in the cars, or do they have to be transparent?
All the fuel line between the fuel tank and the injector or carburetor must be transparent. We want to see which kind of fuel you have on the line, and just to prevent any bubble for the measurement and to prevent any bubble to make a proper measurement and be sure you have no air somewhere.
Thanks, Gilles. And as you could see, we had a person passing by. So as I told you, Sarah, Gilles, and I are together in the same room, and that's when things go a little bit crazy. But another question, and this is a really important one from Team Shark from Hungary. And so they're running on a diesel prototype car, and Adam is actually asking Gilles, they are interested, or Sarah even, because I wouldn't be able to tell, even though I've been living in London for 5 years, we are interested in the weather conditions. So what will happen, what will the prototypes do in the case of wet weather, and do we have any plans for that case? I guess, considering we're in London, that's a little bit likely, but the rules are the rules. Gilles?
It's exactly why we moved the event from mid of May to end of June. In UK, yes, always end of June, beginning of July is sunny. Anyway, we cannot. We try to expect good weather, but it's something we cannot organize. It already happened in the past in France, in Germany, in Netherlands. Sometimes we have to face with the rain and we have to stop the competition. It's impossible to predict in advance. We cannot cover the track. It's strictly not possible.
I was hoping for Gilles to bring me some sunshine, but
Yes.
I'm not sure that that's going to come. Let's go first to one question from still the previous session. And Joseph from Team Unilag in Nigeria, hello, is asking us about a challenging event before London. And yes, it's true. It's going to be in Le Mans, and Sarah will be able to give you a little bit more information. Sarah?
Hi, Joseph. So we will be holding a Challenger event in Le Mans from May 13th to 15th this year, so only in a few months. I do believe we have a few Nigerian teams that are signed up. Basically, what we're going to be doing is using the Karting International track in Le Mans. And we will have complete technical inspection with the official technical team there to help you out with vehicles. And then you will have practice time on track as well as competition time on track, which means it's the same technical conditions as it would be in any normal competition, except there's no prize. And it's an actual track and not an urban track. There are less teams involved, and it is a great opportunity for teams to have some quality time really with the technical team to ask any questions. For those teams that are coming to London, it's really good to prepare. For teams that haven't been selected for London, it's really good practice, and it really allows you to familiarize yourself with the rules and with technical inspection.
Just if I can add a comment about challenger event like Le Mans, it's really especially for new team on join for the future. It's a great opportunity to learn and to be more prepared and to have a vehicle ready when you join the main event, ready to go on track and not stay only in tech inspection and lose your time, in fact. And for teams already participate in Europe, it's also a best opportunity to make your test and have a chat with us. And we have time. It's really an event where we have time to exchange with you and explain really the rules, what you need to do, and what is the best way to go.
Thanks, Gilles. So now another question that you guys are submitting on Facebook from Team Green Team 20 from the Netherlands. We would like to know if it's allowed for us to have detachable windows, for example, with Velcro. What is the minimum thickness of the window? Gilles?
For this kind of question, I really like to have some pictures or drawing. Could you send to Sarah what you expect to do, because it's not easy to say yes or no like this with just a sentence. I would really want to have a pictures, drawing of the size and everything like this.
Yeah, so just submit your drawing for Gilles, and then if you don't know the email, so it's going to be the shell-eco.marathon@shell.com. And Sarah will be able to pick that up and chat with Gilles. Now, another important technical question from Brunel Eco Racing. They're running on a prototype gasoline, and the question is, in Article 25, Part C, it says that any external appendage to the body has to have a 5 centimeter radius. If the team chooses to run a space frame with an aerodynamic shell, does this rule apply to the shell? Gilles is just consulting his Bible. So Gilles?
Again, send a drawing of what you expect to make, what is your design, and I can give you a correct answer. Just again, a sentence is not enough to confirm if it's on the rules or not. We are not too much strict in terms of the radius of this part. What we don't want is a sharp appendage or something can create injuries to someone close to the car or to another car. Just if it's safe, it's more a logic, in fact, than the reality of the radius. But send drawing and or pictures of what you have. I can give you the proper answer.
Thank you. Now another question coming from Facebook, so I'll try to alternate a little bit. Again, we are at 6 p.m. now, UK time, so 7 p.m. CET. We did run about 15 minutes late, so we're going to give you 50 more minutes. But that's going to be it. So just keep your questions coming, and whatever we don't actually have time to answer, we will answer you, maybe approach them on Facebook, even if you need. And again, if you feel like it's useful for you, we can set up another follow-up hangout, if that's okay. Just please submit your question with name, team name, country, and then your car details, so gasoline, or your, category, prototype, and concept, and then energy type. And then one important question from team Han Hydromotive from the Netherlands. They're running on a prototype hydrogen. Is it allowed to go from the campsite to the paddock with our own or the team's own transport method, so or skateboarding? Sarah, maybe we can take this one.
So first of all, by own transport, it won't be possible to do it with an actual vehicle, so with a car, because as mentioned before, there's no parking possibility at all on site, so you won't be able to park. When it comes to walking, cycling, or skateboarding, we wouldn't recommend it, just because the road between the campsite and the paddock is a very busy one. Traffic in London can be pretty hectic, so we definitely wouldn't recommend it. This is why we have the free coaches that are shuttling back and forth. We definitely want to encourage teams to use those coaches as much as possible. It would really put our minds to ease, just knowing that you're all safely sitting in those coaches and not, cycling or skateboarding or of all things. Obviously, we can't not have you. We can't tell you not to, because, well, you're free to do what you like, but obviously we won't be babysitting you, but we really think it's the best solution if you use those coaches. We'll make sure there's enough. We'll make sure they're often enough. I really wouldn't want you guys to, have an issue on the road between those two venues.
Yep. As a Londoner or a London resident, I would tell you traffic here is not simple and it's really busy. So I would just watch out for your safety. Remember, we just want you to have a great event and enjoy it. So try to make use of our coaches. I think that would be the best way forward. Now, a really important technical question. So let's try to help some teams that are dialing in or joining us from far away. So Dali from Tunisia are telling us that they faced a problem about transporting their prototype last year. And could you please lead us on the way of transporting our car in time? So Sarah did mention something about that before, talking about Agility, who is our freight forwarding and shipping expert. So Sarah, maybe you can tell Dali a few tips about shipping their car to London.
So you have the option of either going with our partner, who is Agility Fairs and Events. They have a dedicated website as well as a dedicated email address to help you out with all shipping questions. If you're using a different transporter, if you already have an agreement with another company, this information will come really soon. We don't have dates yet to communicate to you or a precise address and contact. So please bear with us. I know this is really important information, and obviously we're going to try and get this over to you as soon as we can. We just don't have that precise information just right now. So I'll make sure it's communicated as soon as we have it, and it will, of course, be in the participant handbook, which should be published mid-April.
Thanks, Sarah. And now I'm trying to combine two questions we received about battery electric cars and batteries in general. So Gilles, this is going to be for you. One of them is from Khan from Turkey, and they're running on a battery electric prototype car. So do we have to submit component specifications for phase 2? For example, do we have to submit the battery value, the motor power, etc.? Is that part of their phase 2 submission?
No, anyway, the phase 2 submission is already closed first, but you are not to submit all the detail. We just ask for the principle. But you have to take everything with you printed on paper for the technical inspection, description of all your electrical circuitry, and all the principle of the motor controller, BMS, electrical motor, and please print everything in advance. We never know what can happen with computer or tablet or pad or something like this. We want everything on paper, and it's mandatory to at the entrance of the technical inspection. If you have not this with you, you will not be allowed to come in tech inspection.
Thanks, Gilles. And just a reminder for all the teams, when you arrive at tech inspection, you must show the tech team that are going to be doing your inspection your printed technical documentation. So as stated on Chapter 1, virtual variations of your documents, be it on your phone or iPad or computer, they're not accepted, so your team might even be disqualified. So please print all your technical documentation ahead of the competition. This is a question that's spreading in every region, and because it's so easy to have them on your device now, you sort of think you can bring them. No, you cannot, and you can be disqualified simply by not presenting your documents. So print them before you come to Shalikum Marathon. And another question, one coming from Team Youssef is asking us to ask about the battery. Is it necessary to be covered or protected in any specific criteria?
The battery must be in a tray. It's in the rule. The description is in the rules about the battery. You need a metallic tray to put the battery on it, and especially the main recommendation about the battery. It's what happened again in Manila a few weeks ago. It's not in the car, but it's in the paddock. For all battery, please, any type of battery, any size of battery, take care when you charge during the day or during the night. The electricity will be off to be sure no battery stay on charge during the night. But keep a clean environment around the battery. When you charge a battery, the temperature increases in this battery, and it's if you don't use the BMS always to charge and to use in the car, you take the risk of huge extra discharge or extra charge on the battery and create a fire. It happened, unfortunately, each year somewhere in one of the events. Please, this is the most critical part. But in the car, have a look at the rules. It's marked. You need a metallic tray to fix the battery inside of the car.
Thanks, Gilles. And now I'm going to jump into a logistics question, and then I'll come back to some of the questions that are being submitted on Facebook. So the question is now for Sarah, and it's about the deadlines for confirming the drivers. So Sarah, maybe you can tell, oh, sorry, the question is coming from Seaman from Team Automobilist from Bulgaria.
Hey guys, so when it comes to the drivers, really, the moment where the final driver is decided on is when you arrive on site and you go to technical inspection to register the team manager and both of your drivers. This is where we will take your picture, get your information, and give you your RFID bracelets, which will identify you when you go to the briefings, when you go on track, when you go off track. So if the driver changes even a day before the event, it's still okay. We just need to make sure that the drivers that have the HP wristband with the RFID are the final drivers that will be going on track. So there's no pressure, although I do really recommend deciding on your drivers now, because they do need to train and they do need to know your vehicle off by heart, because the track is difficult and it is technical. So they need to be really comfortable driving your vehicle.
It's a main I cannot comment about the driver. It's one of the main recommendations this year with the new track and with the more difficult track. Take care of your vehicle in terms of steering, axle, stability, roll bar, safety belt, brake, but the main part of each vehicle, and especially to make a huge result, the main element is between the steering wheel and the seat. It's the driver. Always the driver is the most critical part of the challenge, and the driver need to know the car, need to test before, and need to be ready to face any urgency on track and know how to manage the car, how to use a brake, how to turn easily. And the driver must be comfortable in the car, but must know the car in advance and must train to drive the car before.
Thanks, Gilles. Now we're going to come back to a question that's quite important, and we have received similar questions from different people. So before we jump into a question that's actually thinking ahead, so thinking of next year's competition, let's go to a question from Team Poseidon from Greece. They're running on a battery electric prototype, and this topic has been mentioned by other teams. So sorry if I'm not saying your name, but this question has popped up today. And the question is about the BMS, so the battery management system. Are we allowed to use any BMS ready to use from the market, since it provides the kinds of protection that are described in the rules?
Yes, the BMS is free. You can buy a BMS adapted to your battery. What you have to build yourself is the motor controller, but the BMS you can buy on something, a commercial product adapted to the battery.
Thank you. So now another question, and as I mentioned, thinking ahead, so already thinking of their car before 2017. Green Team Twente from the Netherlands, again, they're running on an open concept hydrogen, and they say they are concerned about a rule change for 2017 regarding eliminating the secondary electrical system. Will the power of all systems, including safety measures, be taken into consideration for this rule? Gilles?
This new change is not finalized yet. We expect for next year to add a joule meter in any cars and consider all the electrical consumption include in the result at the end, include for internal combustion engine. But no worries yet, it's not yet confirmed.
Thank you. And now a question that maybe Tara will take. So we have time for a couple more questions, and then we do need to wrap up today. But as I said, if you do require a new one, we can schedule a new hangout for you guys. So the question is from Toby from the Derby mechanical team here from England, and they're running on a prototype ethanol car. And the question is, what will the paddock area be like this year? Will there be a building and an outdoor area like in the Ahoy? Sarah did mention that during her presentation, but maybe you can remind the teams of what the paddock layout will look like. And then just adding on that, maybe you can tell the teams how they can arrive at the paddock, meaning how they can travel from the campsite to the paddock and bring their box, their stuff. Sarah?
Okay, so this year the paddock will be an entirely made structure. So we're going to build the paddocks this year, much like we do in Manila. So it's going to be a giant structure outside, but it is slightly elevated and it's completely covered, and there isn't any wind or anything getting in. All the teams will be inside, so no one's outside this year. It's going to be, so all the teams are going to be together in the same structure, together with the technical inspection and the partners. when it comes to getting there, basically, as long as you haven't registered with me, if you haven't gone through team registration, you won't have access. The only way you can access the paddock is if you have your badge. Getting to and from the paddock, if you're staying at the campsite, you can go through our free coaches, so the shuttles that we will be providing. You can just hop on, and it'll bring you straight to the paddock. And from there, you will walk through the venue to the paddock. If you are delivering your equipment yourselves, so if you're driving to London, you will have to come to Stratford Waterfront first, register with me. Once you've registered, you'll drive back around the venue following signage that we will already have put there, go to the back of the paddock, unload your vehicle and your equipment, and then you'll have to drive back out because, as I said, there's no parking there. So the exact flow and the order in which you're going to have to go is all going to be in the participant handbook, which will be published mid-April.
Thanks, Sarah. And now, as we do need to start wrapping up, I've already seen some requests on the Facebook group for us to have another Q&A, so we can definitely set that up. But just so you guys know, and always, I'm just going to share to show you guys how great you are in supporting us. We do have more people joining us now on this link than on the previous one, so thanks everybody. And we did answer more than 20 questions, so I think we're doing a pretty good job. So you guys have been helping us. 2 more questions, and then we're going to have to wrap up today. But this question is from, again, from the DTU Roadrunner, so Christian. Hi, Christian. The question is regarding the air inlets. Is it allowed to alter the geometry of the air inlets, for example, by altering the length of the electrical servo or stepper during the race? Or do the inlets have to be static at all times during the competition? G?
I like to have again more detail about what you like to do and send to Sarah more description about what you expect to have, because it's potentially not allowed. I really want more detail, a drawing or a picture if you have already something with the detail of all the function you want to have.
Thank you. And now another question from the Eco Runner from Delft, so the Netherlands. Again, they're running on a prototype hydrogen. So they are asking about the detailed tire data, particularly from the tests. So what speed they were tested, G, Sarah?
For the tires, it's I think it's already on a Q&A somewhere in the website, or in the eShop. You will find, if you go in the eShop, you will find the data sheet of tires.
In the files.
Yeah. So if you go to the files on the Facebook group, you have details on tires. I think he was asking more about the tests that Michelin ran in London on their tires, if you could share some information with them. We can ask Michelin and see what information they can actually share with you, and there might be something that's confidential for us. But Sarah will take that on board. Why don't you send an email to Sarah with our request, and she can have that sort of documented, and she can then share and ask Michelin for that specific information.
If your question is more about the track surface, no worries, we'll do the best to make asphalt everywhere, a huge quality of asphalt. We will have temporary asphalt for a long part of the track, and the rest will be the road. And anyway, it's a part of the challenge. In Rotterdam, we try to do the best, but it was never perfect. A part of the challenge is to run a vehicle in a city road, in a public road.
Thanks, Gilles. And thanks everybody that joined us today. We did cover actually most of the questions that were combined on both Facebook and on the previous link. So according to my records, we've answered more than 20 questions. Now there are only about 3 that we couldn't cover, but I'm sure some way or another you had your answer covered. Thanks everybody for joining. As I mentioned before, we will try to arrange a follow-up session. So Sarah will then share a post on the Facebook group with some options for you. Maybe we can have another session like this after we come back from Shell Marathon Americas in Detroit, because of course we have to go to that one too. So let's just close this session. So I'm going to open up the floor for Sarah and Gilles to give you some final recommendations. And so let's hear from you, Sarah.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining. As usual, there was a lot of people that were present and we had a lot of questions, which just proves once again that the European competition is one of the ones where we have the most engagement, and it always warms my heart when I see so many people that care so much about the event. So thanks for joining. The recommendation is always the same, isn't it? Please read all of the information we send you. So if you're not receiving the newsletters, just send me an email and I'll add you to the list. Have a look at our website. We have dedicated pages for the Drivers' World Championship, for the Challenger event in Le Mans, for the main competition in London, where you can find Chapter 1, Chapter 2, where you can find track information, where you can find Chapter 3 of the Drivers' World Championship rules. So a lot of the information is already on there. I know it takes time to read everything and to go through it, but it is so useful, and it does avoid having repetitive questions. So please make sure you read everything super carefully. And obviously, as usual, if anything remains unclear, you can post your question on the Facebook group. But if it's a bit more specific to your team, to your vehicle, then I would suggest sending me an email at shellecomarathon@shell.com with pictures, with photos, with drawings, so it's easier for the technical team to understand what you're trying to do and to adapt their answers to your request. Yeah, I think that's it from my side. I'm sure Gilles will have a similar message.
Yes, I have, especially about the Chapter 1, I have 3 main recommendations. The first is read the rules, the second is read the rules, and the third, as you know already, is read the rules. Remember, this book must be your favorite documentation on your table for every day. The majority of the questions we received, the answers are already in Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and now, as we have published right today, have a look at the Chapter 3 about the Drivers' World Championship, and then if you need clarification, you can send question to Sarah. But my main recommendations are about the vehicle preparation for this year, ensure the quality of your vehicle, quality of the wheel axle, of the steering system, of the brake system, and about the safety on the driver, roll bar, safety belt. But also, if you can prepare your driver as the best as possible, just be sure the driver drives the car before the event, not only started for the first time on track in London. It's not the best way to have a safe challenge and to finalize a result at the end. Otherwise, I would say good luck for your preparation and hope to see you soon.
Well, I'm sure we'll all see you. Thanks everybody for joining. Gilles is here. He wants to introduce you, or to introduce our new best friend.
As for the majority of you, you know already this one. Yeah.
So we like to see. We just wanted to show that we are a really big, happy family. Don't forget to watch the tech tip videos on YouTube. I can't see myself. So thanks everybody who stuck around and stayed with us today during our technical issues. We promised you, and we will come back with some dates for a new hangout, probably in May. So Sarah will share some options. Let us know maybe when you would like it. I think this time works really well. We always have a lot of people joining. So thanks everybody, and I will see you soon.
Bye bye.